everybody, and welcome back to It's Just My Opinion. I'm sorry I haven't done this in a while. It's been a very, very hectic couple of months for me. I wish I had a legitimate excuse for why I haven't done it. So, you know what? I'm just going to shoot out a couple of excuses. You pick which one works out best for you. Shortly after filming my Manowar review, I lost my glasses and somehow ended up in Switzerland. I literally spent the last few weeks staring at a mirror trying to pick out the perfect hat. As you can see, I went with Ring of Honor. I was kidnapped and recently saved by Liam Neeson and his particular set of skills. I've been working a lot and haven't budgeted my time very well. And I was on an epic quest fighting a warlock in the 5th dimension to recover my beard. As you can see, I was successful. But now let's go on to the real show. I have a couple of albums that I haven't reviewed for a while, and I've been getting a lot of requests to do these, so this is really just a catch-up week for me. So you know what? Let's get it taken care of. This is the most request thing I've ever had to have reviewed. Here is Testament's Dark Roots of the Earth.
When I say rise up, you say war. Rise up, war. Rise up, war. Rise up, war. Rise up, war.
I've been waiting for this one for a pretty long while. I'm a pretty big Testament fan. Their latest album, Formation of Damnation, is one of my favorite albums of all time, and a lot of people seem to think so too. So they had a lot to live up for with this one, and I gotta admit, I don't have a lot to say about this right off the bat. It just rules. I love everything about this album. I love Chuck Billy's vocals. I love Skolnick's guitars. As soon as I heard the first track, Rise Up, I was amazed at the sound and power that was coming from these guys. You've probably seen the lyric video for Native Blood, and yeah, some of the lyrics are really stupid. They're almost borderline Manowar territory. They're like supposed to be like proud, strong lyrics, but they just come off as really cheesy. But for the most part, it's an enjoyable song. They're all enjoyable songs. The whole album has a great classic feel to it, and it belongs right with their earlier work. It's exceptionally heavy, but it's not so much as Demonic was. But I think that makes it better. It's a lot more sociably listenable. People won't say it's too heavy for me, even though I'm a Testament fan. There's no excuse not to like this if you're a heavy metal fan. This is a great album. And something I listen for a lot in albums like this is just replayability. Something you just put on and listen and enjoy no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing. And this has it. This album's been on repeat for me for a few weeks. My friends are sick of it, because it's all I play in the car. Mostly for the title track, Native Blood, and A Day in the Death. Speaking of which, the guitars are absolutely incredible. This is easily the catchiest album I've heard from these guys in a while. The riffs and the choruses are great. Like I said, they're technical, but they're followable. They're detailed, but they're enjoyable. The songs are varied. They put a lot of effort into this, and if you don't know by now, I have a huge infatuation with heavy metal covers. I love stupid covers of songs, but I also like songs that pay tribute to artists that they really respect and admire. And one of them for Testament is Iron Maiden. So they have, by far, my favorite cover of an Iron Maiden song, which is Power Slave. Their version of Power Slave is really heavy. The replay value is amazing. It's one of the best covers of an Iron Maiden song, if not the best I've ever heard of. And it's just incredible. And this album, just as a whole, fills you with joy if you're a heavy metal fan. It's unmatched to any Testament album I've ever owned in terms of stuff that I've just wanted to listen to over and over and over again. More so than Formation of Damnation. This album is amazing. And that's why I didn't do a full review on this album. All of it would just be, ooh, and I like this too. So it just wouldn't have been funny. It would have been just me fanboying about a great album. This album just rules. It's one of the best things to come out in 2012 I've heard so far. Please, if you get a chance, if you get an hour, just listen to this album front to back. You'll be glad you did. Alright, this is going to be really bad. I haven't listened to this album until just yesterday. It's been sitting in my iTunes just waiting to be played, but I never did. And it's not that I don't like Gojira or I've been putting this off. It's just that I genuinely have no frame of reference with this band other than seeing them for 20 minutes when they played for opening for Lamb of God about 6 years ago. And that was 6 years ago. I never sat down and listened to a Gojira song front to back. So I actually gave this one a listen. So without further ado, here's the newest from Gojira, L'Enfant Sauvage.
We're in this alone, we bow to no one. Dark light of waves, my sacred temple. Sing the praises of no flight, we set the tone. This is no fiction, we're to an end now.
Now again, I'm going on a first listen basis here. I've only listened to this a couple times, but I really enjoyed this. I really did love this. From Explosia to The Fall, I didn't find a bad track on this. None of them moved me, so to speak. I don't think any of them are as memorable as Testament's songs. I will say that was the best album for this group of albums that I'm reviewing right now. But I left this listening experience with a huge smile on my face. The sound from each song is powerful. It's not just having the instruments play the parts. It's about really establishing a mood and an identity for each song. And I like that. I was literally watching the iTunes bar, like following the bar until the closing, because every time a song sounded like it was about to end, it had 3 more minutes left in it, and I was really excited to see where it was going to go from there. And not a lot of albums have made me do that. They haven't made me follow it and see, like, where are they going to go? What are they going to do with this? I think the last one that I've actually followed the bar for to see how much time is left, because I didn't know where they were going to go from there, was Devin Townsend's Deconstruction. And this happened a lot, not just for Explosia, but for all the tracks, really. The songs are surprisingly unpredictable for being in a genre that mostly favors a lack of originality, but my favorite one is definitely Liquid Fire. I love that song, but a lot of the tracks have a distinct stamp to them. Nothing sounds the same on the album, which is a great change of pace from a lot of the stuff I've been listening to lately. I always like to know that there's something going on, and that's something that's really popular with these albums, is that there's always no dead space. I hate dead space on an album. It's why I'm not a huge fan of breakdowns. I grew up with hardcore music. I love some bands that just really do emphasize breakdowns. I love Unearthed. I love Full Blown Chaos. But a lot of times I prefer it when a breakdown has a lot more meaning to it. It has a lot more stamina than just playing, waiting for like a half a measure, and then playing again. And in this one, there are always 2 instruments going on at once. At least 2 instruments going on at once. There's no dead space. There's no fills. It's just solid arrangements. And I love that. I think it's just great. And I don't really have much to say anything negative about this. It's not very good driving music. I have an expression for some albums, 2 of which I'm going to be reviewing today. But I call it cooking music. And basically it's like you can have a complex meal that you're making, and you have to be very careful with the ingredients, and the music will not distract you from it. You're not too invested in it. This is not that. You want to pay attention to everything, because I've been listening to it a couple times. I'm on my 4th or 5th run through. I'm finding something new about every song every time I listen to it. So definitely recommend it. Listen to it at least once uninterrupted. If somebody calls you in the middle of it, yell at them and hang up. Alright, now on to something a tad simpler. Let's talk about Kill Devil Hill. I love Vinny Appice. I like Rex Brown. I was really looking forward to this. And I actually just heard about... I don't know how much they've actually been working on this album, but I just heard about it like 2 or 3 months ago. So, let's see how it panned out. Here's Kill Devil Hill's debut. Again, I don't know how long they were working on this, but if this was just a couple of months to a year that they were working on this, for a first effort, this was really good. I really liked about this. I like that it had a lot of motivation to it. They have their own identity. It's separate from the work the other guys in the band have come from. Like, I heard Velvet Revolver and I just immediately thought, you know what? That's just Guns N' Roses with Scott Weiland singing. When I heard Audioslave, I honestly, for a lot of songs, felt like it was just Rage Against the Machine playing with Chris Cornell. But there are some super bands that have a lot of identity in and of itself. Adrenaline Mob, which I'm going to compare this band a lot to. Adrenaline Mob was another band that everyone wanted me to review the album for, and I just never got around to it. I'm sorry about that. It just never fit into my schedule. But I did like the album. I didn't think it was great. I think it's a lot like this. It was very rock-oriented, not so much metal. I do think this was more of a rock album, despite what the single War Machine will have you believe. As it stands on its own, it's okay. Like, I don't love it, but there are some songs I really like. War Machine. I really like Hangman. I really like Old Man. I like those songs. I think they're very good. But this is very basic music. some of the songs I do like the basic approach. Like, Hangman sounds like it was a B-side to an Alice in Chains album, like one of the newer Alice in Chains things. I really like the harmonizing vocals, but a lot of this sounds the same. And there's a lot of boring ones here and there. It's all in all, it's an okay album. It's not amazing, but it's something you can just throw out there. And I do have to say this, I'm really glad that they gave Rex Brown some parts where he can actually be noticed. A lot of his parts in Pantera's albums and when he was with Down, you didn't really notice that he was playing. But in this one, he at least has some stuff to play around with. When you get past the first two tracks, I mean, it sounds a lot like there's not a lot to get invested with. And I don't really know where they can go from here. It just sounds like they kind of just did this to do it. If they make another album, I really hope they do something completely different. They have something that's a lot more emphasis on parts, because there's one thing that I say this album totally suffers from. It's that it's very, very basic in the fact that no part dominates any section. Everything seems to be like equal parts drums, equal parts guitar, equal parts bass, and there's nothing really to focus on. There's nothing really that shines a spotlight on anything, except when the vocalist comes in. And you know what? It's not terrible. I mean, I love Vinny Appice. I love the singer from Pissing Razors. It's the singer from Pissing Razors, and I like this, but it shows nothing special from them. Even the drums I don't love. But you know what? It's worth at least one listen. I'm enjoying listening to 2 or 3 tracks on it. I'm just not saying that the whole album was great. But you can check it out. I'm not going to stop you, but all in all, I think it's passable. And now for the last one. Didn't it just seem like Hellyeah just got formed? Didn't seem like it was just announced that they were making an album and touring a little while ago. This is Hellyeah's 3rd album. I have no idea where the time goes, but let's hear what Hellyeah's up to right now. This is Band of Brothers.
Life's too short to be sober, drunk with power. Live my life inside an hangover. The war in me.
Should I be honest right now? I'm going to be honest right now. I really do not like Hellyeah. A lot of people will give you crap for not liking Hellyeah. They'll go, oh, you know what? It has a member of Pantera. He doesn't show it. It's not that he's bad. I love Vinnie Paul, and he's never put out a bad thing as long as I've been listening to him. But saying that somebody legendary is in your band is going to automatically make it amazing is a terrible, terrible thing to assume. Remember, before Lou Reed is a legendary musician. And just because he's in it, it doesn't make it better. It all depends on the content. And the content here is boring. It is terribly boring. But that's not to say that I hate things that are derivative of Pantera. Like I said, I didn't hate Kill Devil Hill. I love Down. Down is one of my favorite bands of all time. I like some of their stuff more than Pantera's. And I loved Rebel Meets Rebel. I thought it was hysterical. But like I'm saying, I just did not like this album. I didn't like any album I've heard from these guys. And it's not that I just heard 2 songs, and was like, this is terrible. I literally listened to everything they've put out. I've seen them twice. And no, I don't like the live show either. They seem to be pushing this cowboy image that I'm just not buying. They're shoving it down your throats. We're cowboys, we're rebels, we love drinking and fighting, and I can't stand it. It's not believable with the singer from Mudvayne. It's just not. Also, I wanted to bring this up. A couple times when I did see them, he tried to do the Phil Anselmo stomp, the spinning pivot headbang thing that he did, and he almost tripped and fell. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. But there's one thing I can say about this. The album itself is not terrible. I can say that I don't like it, but I'm not going to say that it's a bad album. I'll never say that you should never listen to this band. Some of the songs are catchy, if not really, really repetitive. I thought Drink, Drank, Drunk was funny the first time I heard it, but I think that's just because I like songs about alcohol and watch the Corpiclani review. And the thing with that is, I've been subjected to War in Me more times than I'd care to because it's the single. It's being pushed all the time. And I do not like that song. All throughout listening to it, all that I'm reminded of is just that the band sounds like Mudvayne with better drummer. And I know that comes with the territory because it's made up with members from Mudvayne. But call it like I see it, why does it always they sound like Mudvayne songs to me? And I know that comes with it, but it's better when it sounds like the band they came from, but with an extra twist on it. For this one, they're not really merging talents. They're not really exploring new territory. It's very generic stuff they're putting out with. Like I said, it's not terrible, it's just boring. And to me, that can make an album worse. That's why I don't listen to it. It's because I can make fun of an album that's absolutely dreadful. You've seen me do it. I loved making that Limp Bizkit review because I had so much to say about it. There's not much to say about this. It's not offensive to the mind and ears. It's just out there. It doesn't offer anything new. It doesn't give any nostalgic feeling because Vinnie Paul's in the band. And while it's not painful to listen to, it's just not enjoyable. And that means, in my opinion, that you have failed as a musician, as a group, if you make something that doesn't leave an impact on somebody. And that's hard for me to say. I love most of the people in this band. I really liked Mudvayne. I liked Pantera. I loved Pantera. But it's just not enough to save this for me. The sound of this is what I pay most attention to. It's too much open space, like I said, that I don't like. Riffs that will attack you instead of going with you. And a lot of it sounds the same. And that's why I don't like this. And again, I cannot stand Hellyeah, but you can. And if you don't like that I don't like Hellyeah, please leave me a comment. Tell me how much I suck. There's the comments section. Flame on. Thank you all for helping me play catch-up this week. These are all things that people have been wanting me to do. I do pay attention to fan suggestions. Please leave a comment and let me know what you want me to play, what you want me to talk about. If you have a band that you want me to listen to their stuff, send me a message at TheGessNation@gmail.com. And until next time, remember, I don't care if you're a Hellyeah fan. I know you like them. It's just my opinion. One more thing, guys. As most of you know, I do like to respond to the comments directly in the videos that I post. I think it's a good way for people to see that I do actually pay attention to what people have to say about the stuff I put out. And I'll be honest, when people say that it sucks, I do like sarcastically responding. But I do take everything to heart that you do put. But that being said, I haven't responded to a lot of direct questions in a while. And there's a reason for that. It's not that I'm ignoring you. It's because I'm going to be posting a video very soon where I answer a few questions on camera. So look for that coming soon. And speaking of which, if you have any questions that you want to ask me about anything you want, my taste in music, my personal life, the production of the videos, whatever, please ask me in the comments or send me a message at TheGessNation@gmail.com. And I look forward to hearing it from you. That'll be coming out soon. And if it does pretty good, I'll probably be doing a couple of them. So don't be shy, ask away, but just remember, stupid questions will get stupid answers. So throw a couple in, and it should be fun.